Hello, children. Hope you are all fine at home. I am Ritanjali Das, Professor of Economics, Regional Institute of Education, Bhubaneswar. Today, we'll discuss about the story of village Palampur, which is a chapter, the first chapter, in fact, in your economics textbook of NCERT. In this chapter, the story of village Palampur, we will try to know about the socio-economic life of people in a village, the production activities in a village, and organization of production in a village. Now, look at this picture. What do you see here? A typical village of India. What do you find here? The roads. Is it a pakka road? Yeah, of course, it looks like a pakka road, but this is in a very shabby condition. It is in a very poor condition. What about the houses that you see here? Do these houses look like the houses of the towns and metros? There are so many houses that you see here which are made of cement and bricks. But at the same time, we also see houses which are made of mud, straws. So this is a village of India. Through the study of the village Palampur, we will discuss more about the village life, particularly the socio-economic life of people in a village. Now, how do you know that a particular region is a village? Most of you might not have seen a village, but you must have seen it either in a movie or in a TV. So what is a village? A village is a small settlement, usually having a very low density of population. It is generally larger than a hamlet, but smaller than a town. It is said that India is a country of villages. Approximately 70% of India's population still lives in villages. So don't you think that it is important for us to learn about the life of people in villages? Do you know, according to Census 2011, there are around 6,49,481 villages in India. Of these, 5,93,615 are inhabited. So these villages. Now let us study about the socio-economic life of people in these villages. So you know, in your textbook, discussion of a particular village, description of a particular village, which is known as Palampur, is given. Now Palampur, it is a hypothetical village and it represents thousands of villages of India. Palampur is well connected with neighboring villages and towns with an all-weather road. Now, what do you mean by an all-weather road? Do you find an all-weather road everywhere? No. So, an all-weather road is a gravelled road on which the vehicles can move easily, both in the rainy season, in the dry season, as well as in the cold seasons, in all the seasons. That means it is a road which is very much friendly to everyone, to people, to transport of goods, to vehicles. So this is called a all-weather road. Now, children, let us know something more about this village. You know, there is a place called Raiganj. It is a big village, but it is only 3 kilometers from Palampur. There is also a town which is very close to Palampur. And regarding the modes of transports, we find both the modes of transport, that is the traditional modes of transport like bullock carts, tongas, buggies. And at the same time, we also find the modern modes of transport. Nowadays, you might have seen in all the villages cycles, rickshaws, autos, these are plentifully available. So in the village Palampur, we see motorcycles, jeeps, tractors, trucks. Now, do you know one thing? I think it is very essential for all of us to know about it. Every day you are browsing your net, you might be knowing about many information, many things which are happening in and around our country, in our globe. But this is one particular information that I wanted to share with you. India has one of the largest and densest road networks in the world. Till the year 2000, around 30% of its population lacked access to all-weather roads. A large part of rural roads then was in a very poor condition. But in the year 2000, the Government of India launched its National Rural Roads Program, which is known as Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana. And what is the objective of this Yojana? The objective is to improve rural connectivity in a systematic manner. Now these new roads which are coming up in the villages, in the rural areas, these new roads are of great significance to our economy. These new roads, they revitalize our rural economy, our villages. How? By raising incomes of people. But how these transport facilities, how these roads help in revitalizing the rural economy? How it helps in raising the incomes of people? Now, when we did not have these all-weather roads, people, they used to suffer a lot. They used to suffer a lot of difficulties while commuting from one place to another place. So the farmers of the villages, it was not possible for them to go to the nearby villages, to go to the nearby towns, to sell up their produce, their agricultural foodstuff. So sometimes in their own villages, they were compelled to sell off their produce at a very low price, which is sometimes known as distress price. Now, after the construction of the roads, the villagers, the farmers, the small artisans, they are no more experiencing this kind of a problem. So it helps, definitely it helps in increasing the level of income of the villagers. It also helps in improving the quality of rural life. Now, with the rise in the income, the villagers, they can have access to many things, many goods and services that they want to consume. For example, if a villager wants to consume a good mobile or a good TV or a set of computer, don't you think that it is going to improve his or her quality of life? Yeah, it is possible. And how these goods are made available to the villagers? Because of the availability of roads. The merchants, the traders from the nearby villages, from the towns, they are coming down to the villages to sell these goods to the villagers. Now, with a reasonably higher level of income, the villagers, they can afford to have these sort of things which are necessary to lead a good life. So, roads definitely lead to the improvement of the quality of life for people in villages. Now, what are the other benefits that the villagers receive? Farmers now find it easier to take their produce to market in time. So, the time factor is very important here, because some of the agricultural foodstuff, are perishable in character. If you will not sell these items, then these items are going to be spoiled. So, timing is very important. And because of availability of good roads, it is now possible for everyone, all the villagers, to go to the nearby towns to sell off their produce. Now, another thing which is very significant for you children, now school enrollment. It is also rising in villages. And families, they are also having more access to health care. And all of these are possible due to availability of good roads. Now, village Palampur, let us make a study of the different groups of people those who live in village Palampur. Now, village Palampur has about 450 families belonging to several different castes. In village Palampur, 80 upper caste families own the majority of land in the village. What do you mean by upper caste? Some other people who belong to the upper caste. So, 80% of these upper caste families, they own the majority of land in the village. That means they are much more privileged than the other group of people in the village. Now, let us study about the other groups. Now, you see that the scheduled castes in village Palampur, they comprise 1/3 of the population. But they live in one corner of the village. Why they are made to live in one corner of the village? Think of it and discuss with your parents, with your seniors. And in much smaller houses. They live in relatively smaller houses, some of which are made of mud and straw. But the upper caste people, though not all, but many of them, they do stay in big houses, relatively big houses which are made of brick with cement plastering. But things are changing even in villages. We can no more say that the scheduled caste people are living in the same condition now as they were living few years back. So discuss all these things with your parents, with your seniors in the family. What else you know about Palampur? Most of the houses have electric connections. Electricity, it has become a very important part of our life. Without electricity, it is hell of our life. And it is very difficult for us to live a comfortable life without electricity. We cannot imagine a day without electricity. Sometimes during the calamities, natural calamities, we go out of electricity. And at that time, the kind of hurdle, the kind of difficulties that we face. The students without electricity, you have to study without electricity. during such times. So how pathetic it is. But village Palampur, it is not deprived of this facility. Electric connections are very much there in the village. Then electricity powers all the tube wells in the fields and is used in various types of small business. Tube wells, these are modes of irrigation. Without electricity, the tube wells cannot run. So now village Palampur has got the tube wells as well for irrigation. Then regarding the social life of people, we can say that Palampur has 2 primary schools and 1 high school where the secondary students, they study. I mean, the children of this village, they did not have to go to the nearby village or to the nearby town in order to educate themselves. So these facilities are very much available there in their village. Now what about the health facility in village Palampur? There is a primary health center run by the government and 1 private dispensary where the sick are treated. Now primary health center run by the government, it caters to the need of the poor, the underprivileged, who cannot afford to go to the private dispensary or the hospitals for treatment, because we know that private hospitals, private dispensary are relatively more expensive than the government-run primary health centers. So now the villagers need not worry about their health because doctors are there, the health workers are there, medicines are available in the village Palampur. And the well-to-do family, those who enjoy a higher level of income, they can go to the private dispensary where it is said that relatively better health facilities are available. Now, connectivity, network connectivity, computers are now become a very important aspect of our life. And because of the introduction of this network connectivity, computers, the life of the villagers have become more stable than before. They are now able to receive different kinds of information about things from different parts of the world sitting at home. Like the students now in this situation, you are able to receive online education, digital education sitting at home. Some of the children, some of the students who are now living in villages, they are also not deprived of this sort of a facility. So in the village Palampur, what we see that Karim, he has opened a computer class center in the village. And he has also given employment to 2 girls of the village in his computer center. Now, what more improvement that we see in the village Palampur? A large number of students from the village, they have been attending college in Sapur town. Sapur is the town which is closer to village Palampur. So that means many of the children, even in the rural areas, in the villages, they are now tempted to go for higher education. So because of good road connectivity, because of availability of good transport facilities, these children, they are able to get higher education in the nearby towns where higher educational institutions are available. So things are changing very rapidly now. But the kind of description that we see here about village Palampur, it fairly speaks of the different kinds of facilities which are available. These facilities, we can say these facilities are the infrastructures, the economic and the social infrastructures which are available in village Palampur. So what we see there? We see there a well-developed system of roads, transport, electricity, irrigation, schools and health center. Now, do one thing, children. Compare these facilities with those in your nearby village. Now, do you think that all these things are required for production? Let us see. Now, look at these two pictures. What do you see? Some of the persons from the village, they are engaged in some kind of farm activities. In the first picture, we see that one person, he is plowing the land with the traditional mode of plowing. Nowadays, of course, tractors are also available. Then in the second picture, the person is engaged in post-harvest activity. In the third picture, you see that people there are doing some kind of fishing activity. In the fourth one, you see a dairy farm where the cattle, they are given food. And these cattle, from these cattle will get the milk. So people who are engaged in these production activities, they have a better scope to earn more money by selling of the agricultural produce, by selling of the fish, by selling of the milk, egg, and all these things in the nearby villages or in the towns. They earn more than what they were earning before. Now let us come down to one concept, the concept of production. Now what do you mean by production? Production is a process of combining various material inputs and immaterial inputs. So these two words are very important here. So it is a process of combining various material inputs and immaterial inputs. The immaterial inputs are plants, know-how, our knowledge, in order to make goods and services for consumption or for satisfying human wants. So production is a process of combining various material inputs. What do you mean by material inputs? The material inputs, no doubt, are the raw materials. The material inputs are no doubt the tools, the equipments, the machinery, the buildings that we need. These are the material inputs. Now, what are the immaterial inputs? The immaterial inputs are the plants, the knowledge, the know-how, without which we cannot do anything. Now, why these things are necessary? Why these inputs are necessary? These inputs are necessary. These are the requirements to make goods and services for consumption or for satisfying human wants. All of us have wants. Some of us are busy satisfying our basic needs. But some of us, they have already fulfilled their basic needs. They are leading a very luxurious life. They are able to avail all the goods and services that they want to avail. Okay, students, so we learnt about multiple cropping in village Palampur. the different kinds of crops which are cultivated there in village Palampur. Just like village Palampur, in other villages of India also we see that the farmers, they grow more than one crop. So let us stop here. Hope you enjoyed this program, and hope that you have understood what I have told you. So see you next time. We'll discuss more about farming activities in villages next time. Thank you very much.